kiss for you.
All right, today we're looking at a critical look on the three TikTok alternatives that are popping up. We got Rednote, Clapper, and Lemon8. I kind of want to talk about these from a more functional perspective, really kind of looking at them from a design and function perspective, one that's kind of looking at the quality of how they work and what we're doing more so than any kind of political or economic associations with them. So I really want to, kind of highlight a starting factor here, which is that these apps are all, relatively speaking, pretty good at doing what they're trying to accomplish. But it's really important to understand what they are actually trying to accomplish. Rednote here, which is the most popular one currently, is mostly a Chinese version of Instagram mixed with a little bit of Pinterest, right? Lemon8, which is TikTok or ByteDance's own version of Instagram, is similar. Clapper is the most similar to TikTok in its format and its setup and all that. So if you were looking for something that is the most TikTok-like in terms of format and sort of UI and function, Clapper is this one here on the right. If you're looking for something that has more social functional aspects, you're going to be looking at something like Rednote. And no one should use Lemon8, basically. And that's kind of where I start to get into the discussion of these three apps. It's important to note that obviously the impending TikTok ban may not happen, and it could be shifted or bought or whatever, but in that idea, Lemon8 currently only is letting you link to TikTok, meaning that if TikTok gets shut down, the servers get shut down, I would assume that if you're in the US, you also won't be able to use Lemon8 because it currently only links to TikTok, which is something I'll get into in a minute. But so that's basically the first thing, is that you have these three apps, and these things here, Instagram, and TikTok, are what these are trying to effectively replace, right? And so when you're trying to figure out, okay, what app do I want to go to, you really have to determine what part of TikTok are you looking to replicate. If you're looking to replicate sort of the functional elements of TikTok in terms of its UI and its kind of structure and setup, you're going to be looking at Clapper, which is this one here. Here's my Clapper profile. It's basically just my name. I have a picture. Has that kind of setup similar to TikTok. You have the pretty normal interface down at the bottom here, right? And this is going to be the closest that you are going to get to something that is TikTok related. So I guess we'll start off with kind of the benefits and the downsides of this one. Obviously, the first benefit, it's most like the TikTok interface. I believe this video is Clapper. Yep. So this one is most similar to the TikTok interface. Let's just mute that. Its intent is to promote varied stories, similar to something like Twitter. The idea behind Twitter and Clapper in general is that it is a kind of a public diary of events from a bunch of people. The idea of like an equal algorithm. It's not going to promote or deny anything. It's kind of just going to give you a very variety-focused information, right? Whether it be videos or lives or anything like that. So the two main advantages are, as I said before, those two things. It's also US owned. A couple of the issues that it has. Obviously, what I'm showing now, it has a catastrophically bad search engine. What I mean by that is you can probably see it on screen. I type in something, I go to videos, and it doesn't show me anything. It doesn't show me titles, creator, who created it. It doesn't show any tags for what to search for. It doesn't show any filtering for video search, nothing. It's just a bunch of videos from a bunch of random people that don't have titles or previews or anything, right? It's a very bad searching mechanism. The other thing it doesn't do well, as I kind of showcase here at the bottom, there's that plus button. You can't do images on Clapper. It's only video or lives, I believe. I checked. I'm like, oh, there's nothing here. You can't do images. So you can do videos only, and there's a lot of things missing. For example, if you like the music function of TikTok, you're not going to get that here. There is no way to kind of add music easily to the videos and have it be kind of like what the setup was there for TikTok. There's also no social aspects in terms of, as I said before, search. The following is also quite weak. It's basically just a follow button. There's no kind of more engagement beyond that. And overall, the app just kind of lacks a lot of the polish and feature set you would want from a TikTok competitor. The messages are pretty basic, right? Things are not super well-tuned or well-designed from that kind of perspective. Things are a little bit clunky, right? Sort of to be expected from an app like this, but it just thought I'd, kind of have that be aware. The other thing, as you can see here, at least as a kind of benefit, is that it does have a decent settings option. So if I go back here, right, you can see that things like being able to set direct messages and who can message and stuff, similar to like what Instagram has, is here. So if you want, privacy guidelines or like a teen account or something like that, you can set more of those restrictions up. And that's fine. You can report. There's a way to add music with the add music to Clapper, but it's not kind of how you think, right? You have to go in there, add the music files, that kind of thing. So it's not super usable in that way. But overall, like the main thing, at least for me, for Clapper, is that while it is the most TikTok-like, it and tries to promote things like a variety of interests and stories and stuff, it doesn't really succeed, at least not yet that I've seen, because it's not able to kind of use that algorithmic advantage that TikTok has, on top of obviously its horrible search. So yeah, not great there. I mean, if you're looking for a TikTok alternative just purely for the short form video, I think you're probably better off going to something like YouTube Shorts, but I'll obviously talk about in a minute why that might not be the best. But if you're looking for that TikTok style, YouTube Shorts is probably the best if you're looking for just that interface, right, and that experience. Clapper isn't really necessarily going to give that to you. All right, so that's the first one, is Clapper. Overall, I don't think I'd recommend it if you're looking for a TikTok alternative, because again, well, it has the interface. Being able to search for stuff is really important, and the ease of search and the ease and the quality of some of the features missing really mean that it's not going to do a ton. I'll get to Lemon8 now, because I think it's also one that's pretty easy to explain right here. You'll see starting off with the poor reviews on the app there. It has 10 million downloads, one of the higher ones here. But first thing, I guess there's an advantage, is TikTok linked, so it transfers all your contacts and followers and account preferences and all that from TikTok. So if you use that transfer there, it's pretty similar. And the other thing is that it's mostly an Instagram lifestyle app. And what I mean by that is it is mostly for things like travel, food, fashion, and those kind of things. It has a more focus on that lifestyle and community focus, rather than something like Instagram would be, that's a little bit more varied, or Rednote, which we'll talk about in a sec. Those are basically the only benefits. As you can see, as I'm going through the reviews here, there's a lot of issues. This one also, similar to Clapper, does not have a great music selection. You can't add music easily or tracks and any of that. It's not really set up for that. So if you're looking for that, you're not going to find it here. The other thing, as they talked about here, is you can't set download preferences. So on TikTok, you can say, hey, I don't want this to be downloadable. You can't do that on Lemon8. There's also no options for filtering, for comments. There is no duets. There's no live functionality either. Videos are pretty short. They can't be longer than a minute. And there's also some like no filters and stuff, I believe, as well. So there's a lot of issues with the app just from other people reporting it. And that's basically what my downsides end up being, as I was using the app as well. As we get into it, right? You start off with whatever your preferences are, and you go through that. And it's pretty similar to something like Instagram. It's pretty similar. It has that kind of same setup like Instagram would be. But obviously, as I said before, no lives. There's a really bad upload function, in case no filters, very poor editing, that kind of thing. No music option, bad options for most categories. That's basically just like a low variety of selection. So I can go like travel and food, and there'll be a bunch of stuff. But if I'm going to, art or games or movie clips, I try and, as you can see here, I'm doing kind of the same search for each one. So on Clapper, Lemon8, and Rednote, I do movie clips and then I do art, just to kind of see what does the algorithm kind of give me. And Lemon8 does have a little bit better of an algorithm than Clapper does, which is a benefit. So when I type in movie clips, I'm going to get movie clips, and I have the titles and the hashtags a lot of the time, as well as the creator tag. So it is much better in that case. And also, as you can see here, things like filtering. So it is better in terms of that functionality. So if you're looking for a purely better search experience, then Lemon8 is going to give you that search experience. It has, the basic features you would want from a search. But generally speaking, the variety isn't quite there, right? There's a lot of things that I'll talk about in a second for Rednote that they have that Lemon8 just doesn't have or doesn't specialize in. And that's kind of my first impression of it, was there's only a couple things here that are really engaging, and everything else is kind of just left to the wayside. But if you like things like food, travel, and fashion, then this might be an app that you want to go on for those items. The last kind of downside I have here is that it's only linkable with TikTok, as I said before. So if TikTok gets banned, I wouldn't expect you to be able to link with Lemon8 until they do something else, like change the kind of way that that's set up right now. Overall, I wouldn't really recommend Lemon8 because of those limitations in a lot of things. It does have a better search, as I said before, and it is kind of geared towards a more lifestyle focus. And if those things appeal to you, then Lemon8 could be a good option. But for most people, I don't think, I think a lot of people like having lives and live streams, like having that music, like having those effects and filters, and Lemon8 just doesn't have any of those. So wouldn't really recommend that one there. The last one here is Rednote. And I do like Rednote, and it is the one I've been using the most. The reason for that is because I use Instagram a lot. I don't tend to use things like Twitter or TikTok or those kind of apps. And so I tend to use stuff like Instagram more. This is very Instagram-like, and so to me, it works out pretty well. And so I guess the benefits here to Rednote are, I would say, 3 major benefits. The variety. You have things like art, science, there's movies, there's game stuff, there's digital technologies, news, learning center, education, career, planting, gardening, travel, right? There's a lot more options here in TikTok than you would see in other. And as you can see there at the top, learning, section, digital tech, all this on the Explore page. And so that's quite good, and I enjoy the variety that it has there. The other thing, obviously it's a Chinese app for Chinese audiences, is the moderation. Now you may think, okay, it's China, it's going to have a lot of sort of tougher moderation standards. From what I've seen, it's pretty normal, right? The moderation standards are pretty basic. The only ones that are kind of things you have to be aware of, no politics, generally speaking, US or Chinese or anything like that. Limit swearing, limit drugs. There's no, sexual content or promotion of, OnlyFans or anything like that. So that's, definitely something to be aware of. No scamming, and more importantly, as I got in trouble for, I can show you here. Nope, not that one. Where I got in trouble, I think it's this one. Yeah, I had posted a project, an upcoming project here that I'm working on, and it got flagged. And this basically translates to don't self-promote and don't kind of go, don't encourage people to go to third-party websites, right? And so it's like, hey, if you're going to promote something, make sure that it's secure and, true or whatever. And I think this one is, hey, make sure that it's not leading to third-party websites. I was still able to post this as, shown here. I did both in English and Mandarin, but I can post it, but instead of, it basically is just like a description of what's happening. And instead at the bottom, I had like a go to this link and give me feedback. You can't have that, right? So as long as you're not going to sending people to third-party sites, then you don't have to worry about that. There is a option, I don't think I have it here, but there is an option to basically chuck over to like a business account, like a premium business account, and then you can do better promotion. But right now, by default, your normal account won't be able to. So pretty simple things, no politics, limit swearing, no drugs, no sexual content, don't scam, and you can't really promote third-party websites unless you're a business account. So that's the moderation aspect. But what it does is mean that the moderation of this app is pretty good. You're not getting a lot of those weird or ridiculous things that might pop up on other platforms. The third thing that I think really separates Rednote, on top of the variety and moderation, is the quality of its search, as I have here. I search for movie clips. I can do post, users, and goods, which is like shopping. I have a filter that works great. I have a little clip of what's happening, the title, who did it, how many likes, similar to something like Lemon8 does, and they're pretty accurate. So I would say definitely the algorithm and the quality of search is very nice. Similar to TikTok, it has the recommended thing on the side there. All the clips that I scroll down are relevant movie clips, and I can do the filtering, and the filtering is, I would say, a little bit better than Lemon8 is. So I really enjoy that, right? And for the downsides, there isn't a ton. There's basically 2 major downsides I can think of. One, obviously the language barrier. A lot of things are in Mandarin, and I'll pop up the screenshots I've taken here. This is, if you want to message people, you have to set your phone number. It doesn't have to be a Chinese phone number, but it does have to be a phone number. And you select your area code by this list, and obviously there's multiple ones, which is the area code for the US. This one here, the second option, is the area code for the US. So if you're trying to search United, it doesn't work like that. The second one here is the one US. You click that, enter your number, and then you can message people no problem. So that's the first thing. The second thing is if I can find my profile. Is this it? Yeah. There is a shopping function because this app did used to be used for a lot of shopping stuff. So the shop, this is like your orders. This is like your cart, like order history, like shopping cart, the shop app itself. And then there is these two here, which I believe are like inspiration and some other things like related to shopping. So if you go to the good section of anything, this section here, it'll bring you up a bunch of related items to shop. I don't know how that works in terms of the like if it's available outside of China or anything. I wouldn't expect so, but just know that. So there is a decent amount of shopping focus on it, tagging products, all that kind of thing. TikTok did end up doing a little bit similar. So if you do use the shopping function at TikTok for whatever reason, then this will also work for that. The other thing I should note is that it is not a major focus, but there are ways to add music. There is a lot of the time, I'm not sure if it was captured here. This is the good section, by the way, it kind of shows up here. But I'm not sure if it was captured here, but there is a way, once you add it, to have like music on the bottom and you click it and it has like the join or the follow thing. So it is pretty similar to that. You can just see I'm going through here. Interface is pretty similar. Sorry, the video here is cutting off, but interface is pretty similar. This button here is basically like a super favorite. So like you can like it and then you can like super like it, and super like it goes farther. That's pretty nice. This is my profile. As you can see here, they've updated some of the stuff to be English, but a lot of it still ends up being Mandarin. But you can check your posts, your collects, your likes, all that. Any recommended content. You can see how many views your posts have gotten right there. My profile here is just pretty basic. It looks like that, which is pretty nice. Nothing too complicated. Everything's pretty similar if you've used something like Instagram before. You can see likes here and the likes, and these are the super likes. So these are the ones you've like greatly liked or favorited, and it's all well organized. And there's a search function, which is really nice. I don't believe Instagram has that. So overall, the quality of the variety, as I've shown here, if I back up a little bit, you can go to your channels and add channels. These are the ones I have added at the top. I can add more at the bottom here very easily. So the variety of that, the moderation, the quality of the search is really a benefit to them.